The pounding on my door cuts through the darkness like a scream. My eyes snap open and I jolt upright in bed, heart racing before my brain even wakes up. For a second, I have no idea where I am. Then I see the red numbers on my alarm clock. 5 a.m. 3 more hard knocks shake the door and my stomach drops. Nobody comes to your place at this hour with good news. I throw off my blanket and swing my legs over the side of the bed. The floor is cold under my feet. I live alone in a small apartment in Seattle. Just me, my things, and the quiet. After my breakup 3 years ago, I decided I liked it that way. No surprises, no drama, just my routine, my job as a data analyst, and nights where I can hear the rain on the windows. This is not part of that plan. I grab my phone from the nightstand like a shield and walk toward the door. My old gray t-shirt hangs off one shoulder. My sweatpants are wrinkled. My hair probably looks like a bird made a home in it. I do not look ready for visitors, especially not at 5 a.m. The knocking comes again. Louder this time. I'm coming, I call out, my voice rough from sleep. The hallway light outside my apartment has been half dead for months. The building manager keeps saying he'll fix it and never does. When I press my eye to the peephole, I only see a blurry shape. Too tall to be a kid. Too still to be drunk. Who is it? I ask. My hand hovers over the lock, but I don't turn it yet. My neighborhood is not the worst, but it's not the best either. Random visitors at this hour usually mean trouble. There's a long pause. For a second, I think maybe whoever it is left. Then I hear a voice I know. Only it sounds wrong. Shaky, thin, almost broken. Nathan, it's Victoria. My brain freezes. Victoria, as in Victoria Brennan, as in the CEO of the entire tech company where I work. The woman who runs all-hands meetings with 200 people in the room like it's nothing. The woman whose name is on every big email. The woman people lower their voices around in the hallway. That Victoria is standing outside my apartment. At 5 a.m., I unlock the door fast and pull it open. The sight in front of me knocks the air out of my lungs. She looks nothing like the powerful woman I see at the office. Her blonde hair is falling out of a messy ponytail. Her mascara is smeared and dark streaks down her cheeks. Her eyes are red and puffy like she has been crying for hours. The sharp green eyes that usually scan reports and spot problems in seconds look empty and tired. Victoria, I say. I forget to call her Miss Brennan. What happened? Are you okay? She doesn't answer right away. Her gaze moves over me, taking in my t-shirt, my bare feet, the half-awake mess I am. Then her eyes slide past me into my apartment to the small living room and second-hand couch and stack of books on the coffee table. When she finally speaks, her voice is so soft I almost miss it. Can I come in? Every logical part of me starts yelling at once. This is my CEO. A woman so high above me on the company chart that we hardly ever speak. Letting her into my home alone at 5 a.m. feels like the start of a very bad idea. What if someone sees her? What if this is some kind of test? What if I screw this up and lose my job? But then I look back at her face. At the pain in her eyes. At the way her shoulders are pulled in like she is trying to hold herself together by pure force, and I can't say no. I step back and open the door wider. Yeah, I say quietly. Come in. She walks past me and I catch the smell of expensive perfume mixed with something sour and heavy wine maybe. Her heels click softly on the floor as she moves into my living room, but her steps are small and careful. Not the strong stride I'm used to seeing at work. She stops in the middle of my tiny space and looks around. The thrift store couch, the old TV, the framed photos on the wall, the basket of clean laundry I never got around to folding last night. Suddenly, I see my life through her eyes. My whole world could probably fit inside her walk-in closet. I'm sorry, Victoria says, turning toward me. I shouldn't be here. I don't know what I was thinking. This is completely wrong. I should go. She takes a step toward the door. Without thinking, I move and block her path. Victoria, wait. I keep my voice low and gentle, the way I used to talk to my ex, Emma, when she came home after a bad day. You came here for a reason. Whatever it is, you don't have to leave. Just talk to me. She stares at me for a long moment. I can see the fight in her eyes. Part of her wants to run. Part of her is begging not to. Then her shoulders drop and she lets out a slow breath. I had a date tonight, she says. She lets out a laugh that has no joy in it. God, that sounds so stupid when I say it out loud. I'm 41 years old and I'm crying about a bad date like I'm 16. Sit down, I say, pointing at the couch. Please, let me make some coffee. To my surprise, she listens. The same woman who gives orders to hundreds of people sits on my cheap couch like she's afraid she'll break it. She perches right on the edge, her back straight, her hands folded tight in her lap. I go into the kitchen and start the coffee maker. The old machine rattles and wheezes, but the sound is comforting. I bought it after Emma left when I was trying to rebuild my life with what little I had. It feels strange using it now for my CEO. How do you take your coffee? I call out. Black, 1 sugar, she answers. Her voice sounds a little steadier now. I pour 2 mugs and bring them back. I hand one to her and sit in the armchair across from her. Not too close, not too far. Thank you, she says. She wraps both hands around the mug like she's cold, even though the room is warm. She takes a sip and closes her eyes for a second. This is good coffee, she says quietly. Just grocery store stuff, I say. Nothing special. She opens her eyes and really looks at me. I feel like she's searching for something in my face. His name was Marcus, she says suddenly. Marcus Chun, venture capitalist, big office downtown, drives a Tesla, of course. We met at some networking event 3 weeks ago, right after my divorce papers were finalized. I stay quiet. Sometimes people just need space to let the words out. We went to this fancy steakhouse, she continues. White tablecloths, one of those places where you can smell the price. He spent 2 hours talking about himself, his money, his contacts, his opinions. Every time I tried to speak, he would smile, nod, and then keep going like I had never opened my mouth. I can see it in my head. Some guy in a perfect suit, proud of his own voice. Then during dessert, Victoria says, her voice dropping, he leaned in and told me he respected ambitious women. That it was attractive, honestly. But he said, men still need to feel important. He said, maybe if we were in a relationship, he could handle the big decisions and I could focus on the smaller things so I wouldn't stress about important things so much. Quote, my jaw tightens. I didn't throw my drink in his face. She says, I wanted to, but I didn't. I put down my fork, told him the evening was over, paid for my own meal, and walked out like the calm, professional CEO everyone expects me to be. Good for you, I say. And I mean it. Is it? She laughs again, but it breaks in the middle. Her eyes shine with fresh tears. Because I sat in my car for almost an hour after that. He's the third man in 2 weeks who made me feel like I'm too much, too successful, too opinionated, too independent, too everything. Her voice cracks. My ex-husband said the same thing. That I cared more about the company than our marriage. That I was married to my work, not to him. And maybe he was right. Maybe I built this whole career and lost everything that actually matters. That's not true, I say. My voice comes out firmer than I expect. How would you know? She snaps, then looks away. Sorry, I shouldn't talk to you like that. It's okay, I say. You're upset. I lean forward a little. For what it's worth, anyone who makes you feel like you're too much is really just saying you're more than they can handle. That's their problem, not yours. She looks back at me, surprised. Something softens in her face. How do you do that? She asks quietly. Do what? Say exactly the right thing. She studies me. You've been doing it since I got here. No questions about why. No judgment. Just calm. I shrug. I don't know. I just try to treat people like people. Not job titles, not positions. Just people having a rough night. Quote. She is quiet for a moment. That's why I came here, she says finally, her fingers tighten around the mug. Or one of the reasons. My heart speeds up. What do you mean? She takes a breath and sets the coffee down. Then she stands. I stand too without thinking. We're only a few feet apart now. I went home after that date, she says. To my perfect penthouse with its perfect furniture and perfect view. I stood there in the dark and realized I couldn't remember the last time I felt happy. Not proud, not successful, happy. She looks up at me and for the first time I see fear in her eyes. I thought about work, she says, about people there. And I realized you're the only person in that whole building who treats me like I'm human. You hold the elevator. You say good morning like you mean it. You stopped one night to ask if I was okay when I was working late. Nobody else did. I remember that night. I remember how tired she looked behind the glass walls of her office. I looked up your address, she admits. In the employee system. I know that's wrong, but I needed to see this. A life that makes sense. A person who seems real. She takes one small step closer. My heart hammers against my ribs. You're the only person I wanted to talk to, she whispers. The only one I trusted not to see, just the CEO. Her hand lifts slowly, giving me plenty of time to move. I don't. Her palm rests flat on my chest, right over my heart. The heat of her touch burns through my thin t-shirt. I know she can feel how fast my heart is beating. I can feel it, she says softly. So maybe I'm not the only one feeling something. She is right. I feel something too, I say, my throat tight. But I'm scared. You're my CEO. If this goes wrong, I don't just lose you. I lose my job, my safe little life, everything I built after Emma left. Quote. Her face falls, but she nods. So, what do we do? She asks, because I can't act like this isn't real. We're careful, I say. We don't decide everything at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're hurt and I'm half asleep. We take time. We think. We don't rush. Her eyes close and a tear slips down her cheek. I came here hoping you'd tell me I was crazy, she whispers. That would have been easier. I know, I say, but I've never been good at easy. We stand there in my small living room, the sky outside turning from black to gray, her hands still on my chest, both of us caught between fear and something that feels a lot like hope. And I know with a sharp, sudden clarity that nothing about my life is going to be simple after this morning. Monday morning feels wrong from the moment I wake up. The sky over Seattle is gray like always, but everything inside me is loud and restless. I make coffee. I drink half of it without tasting it. My apartment smells like her perfume even though she left hours ago. Her empty mug is still on my table like proof that I did not dream any of it. At work, I get there 15 minutes early, like I always do. I swipe my badge, walk through the lobby, take the elevator up with a couple of coworkers who talk about some football game. I nod at the right moments, but my mind is somewhere else. I wonder if she is already here. I wonder if she regrets everything. At my desk, I open my laptop and try to lose myself in numbers. Spreadsheets are simple. They follow rules. You can sort and filter and make sense of them. Hearts do not work like that. At 10:15, my calendar pings. All hands meeting. 10:30 a.m. Main conference room. Everyone must attend. My stomach tightens. I push my chair back and stand up slowly. Big meetings like this usually mean something important. New project, restructure, something, or a sale. The room is already crowded. When I walk in, people talk in low voices, holding coffee cups and water bottles like shields. I find a spot near the back against the wall. I like being where I can see everyone, but nobody really sees me. At exactly 10:30, the door near the front opens. Victoria walks in. She looks like a different person from the woman who stood in my living room at 5 a.m. 2 days ago. Her blonde hair is neat and twisted up. Her makeup is perfect. She wears a navy suit that fits her like it was made just for her. Her heels click with the same strong, steady rhythm she always has at work. If I had not been there that night, I would think she was fine, but I know better. I see the faint shadows under her eyes that powder cannot hide. I see the tight way she holds her shoulders. I see the way her hand grips the edge of the stand for half a second before she lets it go. "Thank you all for coming," she says. Her voice is clear and strong, the CEO voice. I will keep this brief. The room goes quiet. We have been approached by Cascade Equity with an acquisition offer. The word hits like a stone dropped in water. Acquisition. People shift in their seats. I hear a few soft curses. Someone whispers, "No way." Victoria raises one hand. "Before anyone panics, take a breath," she says. "No decisions have been made yet. The board and I are reviewing the offer. Any deal would include protections for employees. Your jobs are not about to disappear." She starts to lay it out. Cascade Equity is a large investment group. They are interested in buying our company and keeping the brand. They would bring more resources, more reach. There would be changes, but she is pushing for terms that keep our team safe. People ask questions. She answers each one in a calm, steady way. This is the woman I have watched from a distance for 3 years. Smart, sharp, in control. But every now and then, her eyes skim the room and land on me. It only lasts a second, but I feel it like a hand on my chest. I look away each time. I do not trust my face. When the meeting ends, people stand up at once. The room fills with noise. Some look angry. Some look scared. Some look excited. A few look like they do not care as long as their paycheck comes on time. I try to slip out with the crowd. Nathan Pierce. Her voice cuts through the noise like a bell. I freeze. Victoria is still at the front of the room gathering her notes. Her eyes are on me. "Could you stay for a few minutes?" she asks. I have a question about the quarterly data projections. The words sound normal, professional, but I know this is not about numbers. "Sure," I say. My voice sounds strange in my own ears. People file out. The door finally closes with a soft click. The room feels too big now, too quiet. Victoria sets her papers down and looks at me for a moment. We just stand there, not moving, like we are on opposite sides of some invisible line. "How are you?" she asks. Her voice is softer now. "I should ask you that," I say. I take a couple of steps closer, but not too many. "That was a big announcement." "I am busy," she says. "But that is not why I asked you to stay." She takes a breath. "I meant what I said the other night," she says. "In your apartment. I meant all of it." My heart starts to pound again. "I know this is messy," she goes on. "I know it is complicated. I know I am your boss. I know there is an acquisition offer on the table. I know this is the worst timing in the world." Her eyes lock on mine, but pretending nothing happened is not something I can do. I swallow. My mouth feels dry. What do you want me to say? I ask. I want you to tell me the truth, she says quietly. I want to know if I am alone in this. Did you feel anything that night, or was it just me living in my head? The words hit hard. There it is. The simple, dangerous question. I could lie. I could say it was a strange night and nothing more. It would be safer. I could go back to my quiet life with my old coffee machine and my second-hand couch and my safe distance. But when I look at her, I see more than my CEO. I see the woman who sat on my worn couch with her hands wrapped around a cheap mug. The woman who told me she was tired of feeling like she was too much for everyone. The woman who put her hand on my chest and felt my heart race. You are not alone, I say. My voice is barely more than a whisper. I felt it too. Something in her relaxes just a little. Her shoulders drop. Her eyes shine. Then why are we standing this far apart, she asks softly. I let out a breath. I did not know I was holding because I am terrified. I say because you just announced a possible acquisition that could change your whole life, because my life is about paying rent on time and keeping my head down. We live in different worlds, Victoria. So we build a bridge, she says. The answer is simple to her. People do it every day. I had a girlfriend once. I say she left because I chose a quieter life. She said, I had no ambition, that I was happy being average. I am still scared of hearing that again. I am scared of being not enough, especially for someone like you. Her face softens at that. I am not your ex, she says. I am not going to punish you for knowing what you want, for wanting balance. That is something I wish I had known sooner. I move a little closer. We are only a few feet apart now. Even if you mean that, I say there is still the boss and employee thing, the power, the risk. If this goes wrong, it does not just hurt us. It could hurt my career, your reputation, the company. She nods slowly. I know, she says. I have thought about that more than you know. Silence stretches between us. Along the walls, company posters talk about growth and innovation. The projector screen behind her shows the last slide from the meeting, the company logo glowing bright. You said we should be careful, she says. You were right. We should be. But I also know I walked into your apartment at the worst moment of my life, and you were the only person I wanted to see. Her voice trembles just a little. So, here is my question, she says. Can you live with pretending none of that happened? Can you look at me in the hallway and act like I am just your CEO and nothing more? The answer comes fast. Too fast. No, I say. We both hear how honest it is, how quick I cannot, I add. I tried to tell myself I could, but I know I would be lying. She closes her eyes for a second like she is fighting tears. When she opens them again, they are clear and focused. Then we have two choices, she says. We ignore this and try to go back to the way things were. Or we try to find a way forward that does not destroy us both. And if there is no way, I ask, then at least we were honest, she says. At least we tried. I can live with heartbreak. I cannot live with what if forever. Her words sink into me. I think of my small apartment, my old coffee maker, my safe routines. I also think of the way my heart moved when she said I was the only one who treated her like a person. I need time, I say finally. I cannot decide something like this in a conference room. Not when everything is still upside down. She nods. Take the time you need, she says. I will not push you. I promise. She gathers her papers and heads for the door. My chest tightens at the idea of just letting her walk away like this. Victoria, I say. She stops and looks back. For what it is worth, I say, I wish I was braver. The corner of her mouth lifts just a little. I see more courage in you than you see in yourself, she says. I see someone who knows what he values and lives by that. That is rare. She opens the door. When she is almost out, she looks back one more time. I am not asking you to change who you are, she says. I am asking you to think about whether there is space in that life for me. The door closes behind her. I stand alone in the empty room, my heart pounding, my head spinning, feeling like the floor under me has shifted. Bag at my desk, the day crawls by. I stare at my screen, but the numbers blur. My phone sits face up beside the keyboard. Every buzz makes my pulse jump, but it is never her. By the time I walk home through the light rain that night, my shoes are wet and my thoughts are louder than the traffic. I shower. I heat up leftovers. I try to watch a show but do not follow a single scene. I pick up my phone twice to text someone. Then remember, I do not have her number. Around 9:00 p.m., my phone buzzes. Unknown number. I open the message. It is Victoria. I got your number from HR. I know that is probably wrong, but honesty is kind of our thing now. Can we talk? Not at the office. Somewhere neutral. I stand in the middle of my living room with my phone in my hand and my heart in my throat. This is it. The moment where I either step back into safety or take a step toward her. I stare at her message like it might change if I blink enough times. It does not. It is Victoria. I got your number from HR. I know that is probably wrong, but honesty is kind of our thing now. Can we talk? Not at the office. Somewhere neutral. My thumb hovers over the keyboard. I could say no. I could tell her we should keep things professional. I could choose the easy way out. Instead, my fingers move before my fear catches up. When? The reply comes fast. Friday night 7. There is a coffee shop on Pine Street, Brew Haven. Do you know it? Quote. I do. It is small, quiet, the kind of place where you can actually hear the person across from you. I know it. I text back. I will be there. Thank you, Nathan. She writes. Really? All week, time stops making sense. Hours at work feel longer. My days blur into meetings, reports, and small talk that means nothing. Every sound in the hallway makes me look up, wondering if it is her. At the office, we are careful. She does not seek me out. I do not look. For reasons to be near her. We nod in passing like always. To anyone watching, we are just CEO and data analyst. Inside, I am counting down to Friday. When the day finally comes, I leave my apartment at 6:30. The air is cool and smells like rain. My hands will not stop shaking, so I shove them in my jacket pockets. Brew Haven glows warm through its front windows. When I look inside, she is already there. Of course, she is. Victoria is early to everything. She sits at a small table in the back corner. Her blazer is draped over the chair beside her. She is wearing a simple blouse, her hair down around her shoulders. There are 2 cups on the table. My heart kicks hard against my ribs as I push the door open. The bell above it gives a soft ring. She looks up for a second. The CEO mask I know so well slips. I see pure nerves on her face. Hope. Fear. Hi, she says softly. Hi, I answer and my voice sounds rougher than I expect. I walk over and sit across from her. She pushes one of the cups toward me. Black with 1 sugar, she says. I remembered. I take a sip. It is perfect. For a moment, we just sit there. The low hum of the coffee shop feels too normal for what this is. I have been thinking about what you said, she begins about being careful. My chest tightens. I brace myself for the words that will end this. It was a mistake. You were right. We should forget it. You were right, she says. We do need to be careful. I nod and look down at my cup. But, she adds, and the word pulls my eyes back to her. I have also been thinking about how I have lived my life so far. I take risks in business all the time. I bet everything on companies and deals and numbers. But when it comes to my own heart, I hide. I choose work every time because it feels safe. She lets out a slow breath. I am tired of that, she says. I am tired of going home to a perfect apartment I hate. I am tired of smiling through bad dates with men who only see my job. I am tired of running my life like another company to manage. Her eyes meet mine. I cannot stop thinking about that night, she says. Not just because I was upset, but because you saw me, the real me. You did not treat me like a boss who broke down. You treated me like a person who was hurting. I do not get that often, if ever. I cannot stop thinking about it either. I admit every time I try to focus at work, my brain just throws your face in front of me. A small shaky smile touches her mouth. So, she says, I need to know. Is this something you actually want to explore, or were you just being kind that night? I was being kind, I say, but not only kind. I set my cup down. My hands are not steady. Victoria, I like you, I say. Not the title, not the power. You. The woman who sat on my couch and said she felt like she was too much. The woman who admits she is lonely even when everyone thinks she has everything. Her eyes shine, but she does not look away. I like you too, she says quietly. More than I planned to, more than I probably should. There it is. The thing we have been dancing around finally spoken out loud. I am still scared, I say. I am scared of losing my job. I am scared of people finding out. I am scared I will not be enough for you. And I am scared. She says, I am scared of hurting you. I am scared of the power imbalance. I am scared of being selfish. But I am more scared of walking away and wondering for the rest of my life what might have happened if we had tried. We sit there, fear and hope sitting between us like a third person. What if we do try? She asks. What would that even look like? I think about it for a long moment. We start with this, I say, talking in a coffee shop. Nothing secretive, nothing shady, just two people getting to know each other. Outside of work, we take it slow and honest. Inside the office, we stay professional. No flirting, no sneaking around. If at any point it feels wrong, we stop and we talk about it. Her shoulders loosen a little. I can do that, she says. Slow and honest. I like that. And one more thing, I add. No big physical moves until we both feel ready. No doing something in the heat of the moment and then regretting it. Her cheeks flush, but she nods. Agreed, she says. So, we are doing this, I say. I think we are, she answers. We both laugh then. It is soft and surprised, like we did not expect to feel this light. We stay there for over an hour. We talk about small things at first. Her coffee order. My favorite takeout place. The best time to walk by. The waterfront when the crowds are low. Then we move into bigger things. She tells me she grew up in a small town in Oregon, raised by a single mom who worked 2 jobs. She talks about how she pushed herself through school and business and every promotion because she was scared of ending up with nothing. I tell her about my dad in construction and my mom who ran a little bookstore that never really made money but always felt like home. I tell her about Emma, about leaving the startup with its 80-hour weeks and big promises to come to her company for something more steady, and how Emma saw that as failure. Emma wanted a version of success that made sense to her. Victoria says that does not mean she was right. Still hurt, I say. I know, she answers. When we leave Brewhaven, the sky is dark. The city lights reflect off wet pavement. She walks with me to the corner. Thank you, she says, for coming, for listening, for being brave. Quote, I do not feel brave. I say, you showed up, she says. That counts. We do not hug. We do not kiss. We just stand there for an extra second. Both of us wanting more and choosing not to rush it. Over the next weeks, a strange new rhythm shapes my life. At work, nothing changes on the surface. I sit at my desk. I run reports. I send emails. In meetings, I listen while she speaks at the front of the room. We are careful. No long looks, no private jokes, no extra attention. But outside the office, everything is changing. We start with simple things. Coffee on Saturday mornings, walks along the waterfront, a movie at a small theater where nobody cares who sits in the dark, dinner at places that do not require reservations months ahead. We talk a lot about our pasts, our fears, our habits. She tells me about her ex-husband and how they slowly turned into coworkers instead of partners. I tell her about the night Emma gave me back my key and called me average. You are not average, Victoria says. Every time that story comes up, you are steady. There is a difference. Quote, there are moments when I almost reach for her hand and stop. Moments when she sits across from me, laughing at some dumb joke I made, and all I want to do is lean across the table. We wait. The more time we spend together, the harder it is to remember why we are waiting. But it also feels right to build the foundation first. At the same time, the acquisition talk heats up. Some days she is pulled into back-to-back meetings with lawyers and board members. She leaves the office looking more tired than I have ever seen her. One night after a long day, she shows up at my apartment again. This time it is not 5 o'clock in the morning. It is 8 at night. Her hair is pulled back. She looks drained. Long day, I ask, letting her in. Board meeting ran 3 hours over, she says. Cascade raised their offer. They want a decision soon. I pour her a glass of water and we sit on the couch. What do you want? I ask. For the company or for me? She asks back. Both. For the company, this deal could be great, she says. More money, more stability. For me. She stares at her hands for a second. For me, it feels like a sign, she says finally. Like a door opening and asking me if I am brave enough to walk through it. A sign of what? I ask that maybe it is time to step away. She says to stop being the person everything revolves around, to do something smaller, more human, something that lets me actually have a life. She looks up at me. A life that might have space for this, she says, motioning between us. My throat tightens. You would give up being CEO? I ask. For me? No. She says at once. I would not step down for you. I would step down for me. For the woman who stood in your living room at 5 in the morning and realized she was alone in a beautiful prison. But if I do this, if I walk away from this job, I want you to know that you are a big part of why I believe a different life is possible. The room feels smaller. The air feels heavier. When would you decide? I ask. The vote is in a few weeks, she says. If the board agrees to the deal, I will have to choose. Stay on in some role under new owners or walk away and start over. What are you leaning toward? I ask. She looks at me for a long time. Ask me that again after the vote, she says. Because if I tell you now, you might try to talk me out of it. She gives a small, tired smile. And you are very good at saying the right thing when I am scared. Later that night after she leaves, I lie in bed staring at the ceiling. When she knocked on my door at 5 o'clock in the morning, I thought the biggest shock was what she confessed about her heart. Now I am starting to see an even bigger truth. This is not just about her feelings. It is about the way we are both standing on the edge of a life we could not have imagined before that knock. And soon she is going to make a choice that could change everything for both of us. The office feels strange. People talk in low voices in the hallway. Rumors float around like dust and sunlight. Some say Cascade is backing out. Others say the deal is done. Nobody really knows. I know one thing. Whatever happens, Victoria is standing at a crossroads. By late afternoon, my brain is fried from pretending to work. I stare at the same line of data for 10 minutes and still do not see it. I check my email like maybe news will appear there first. At 4:12 p.m., a company-wide message pops up. All hands meeting. 4:30 p.m. main conference room. Attendance mandatory. My heart stutters. This is it. The room is packed by the time I get there. People are standing along the walls. The air feels heavy, like everyone is holding their breath. Victoria walks in at exactly 4:30. She looks tired. Not messy, not broken, just tired in a deep way. She still wears a dark suit. Her hair is still swept up. To most people, she probably looks the same as always. I can see the difference in her eyes. She steps up to the front and rests her hands on the stand. "Thank you for coming," she says. Her voice carries across the room. "I know this is short notice, but I wanted you to hear this from me." The room goes quiet. "Earlier today, the board voted to accept Cascade Equity's acquisition offer," she says. A wave of sound moves through the room. People whisper. Someone swears. Someone else lets out a low whistle. Victoria waits until it settles. "This deal did not come lightly," she continues. "Cascade will keep our brand and our offices here. Your positions are secure. Your benefits will stay the same or improve. No one is losing their job because of this." You can feel the tension dip a little at that. "There will be changes," she says. "New systems, new reporting, new leadership at the very top." She takes a breath. I see her fingers press harder against the stand. "I will not be part of that new leadership," she says. You could hear a pin drop. "After the transition period, I will be stepping down as CEO." She says, "This company has been my life for many years. I am proud of what we built together. I am grateful for your hard work and your trust, but it is time for me to turn the page and start a new chapter." "What will you do?" Someone calls from the front. She gives a small real smile. "Sleep," she says. The room laughs and some of the tension breaks. "After that, I am starting a consulting firm. I want to help smaller companies with their strategies. Less boardrooms, more human meetings." Her eyes move across the room. For a second, they land on me. My chest feels tight. "I know change is scary," she says. "But I believe this can be good for all of you. You are in strong positions. You have skills that matter. My goal from the start was to build something that could stand on its own. I believe we have done that." She finishes with thanks and a promise to share more details in the coming weeks. Someone starts clapping. The sound grows until the whole room is applauding. Some people cheer. Some cry. Some look stunned. I clap too, though it feels strange, proud, sad, worried, relieved all at once. When the meeting ends, people rush to the front to talk to her. Board members, managers, friends. I stay where I am against the back wall. This moment is not mine. I watch her smile and nod. I watch her accept hugs and handshakes. I watch her eyes flick up every now and then, searching the room. When our eyes meet, it feels like the world narrows. She lifts her chin toward the side door, the one near the empty offices that nobody uses much. Then she turns back to the crowd. I slip out quietly and walk down the hall. My heart is pounding so hard I can feel it in my hands. The side hallway is empty and quiet. Old framed awards hang on the walls. A vending machine hums softly at the end. A few seconds later, the side door opens. Victoria steps through and closes it behind her. For the first time since the meeting, she drops the strong posture. Her shoulders fall. She leans back against the wall and lets out a breath like she has been holding it for hours. "How did I do?" she asks. "You were amazing," I say. "Strong, honest, clear." "I felt like I was shaking the whole time," she says. "You hit it well," I say. She smiles, but her eyes are wet. "So," I say, "this is real. You are really stepping down." "I am." She says, "The paperwork is signed. In a few months, I will just be a name on the history page of the company website." "How do you feel?" I ask. She laughs softly. "Scared," she says, "relieved, sad, free all at once, like I jumped off a cliff and I am waiting to find out if I have a parachute or just very bad timing." We stand there in the quiet, the weight of her choice pressing in around us. "I did not do this for you," she says. "I need you to hear that. I would never put that on you." "I know," I say, "and I do. But," she adds, "I did it because of what being with you has shown me. You made me see a different kind of life. One that is not all about power and control. One that has room for slow mornings and real conversations. That part is for me." She pushes off the wall and takes a small step closer. "The part that is for you," she says, "is this." She looks up at me. Her green eyes are open and raw. No boardroom mask now. Just Victoria. "In a few months," she says, "I will not be your CEO. There will be no boss and employee line between us. No conflict of interest. If we decide to be together, then it will be just us, two people choosing each other." My heart slams against my ribs. What if I do not want to wait a few months to say what I feel? I ask. "Then say it now," she whispers. I take a breath that feels like it goes all the way down to the floor. "I love how you think," I say. "I love that you see people even when you pretend you do not have time. I love that you came to my door when you were broken instead of hiding in that big apartment. I love the way you listen when I talk about my boring life like it is something important." My voice shakes, but I keep going. "I am falling for you, Victoria," I say slowly and deeply and in a way that scares me. "But I am." Her lips part, tears spill over and slide down her cheeks. "You are not the only one," she says. I tried to fight it. I told myself you were younger. That you worked for me. That it would ruin everything. It did not matter. I kept thinking about you, about your quiet strength, about the way you hold space for other people. I am falling for you too, Nathan. She says my name like it means something more now. I step closer until I can feel her breath on my skin. Can I hug you? I ask. Just that, nothing more. Her answer is a whisper. Yes. I wrap my arms around her. She folds into me like she has been waiting to do this for years. She feels small and strong at the same time. I rest my chin on the top of her head. She presses her face against my chest. For a while, we just stand there. No words, no plans, just two people in a quiet hallway holding on to each other while the world shifts. When we finally pull back, she looks up at me with a shaky smile. "I owe you a proper first date," she says. "Not a breakdown on your couch, not a tense talk in a coffee shop. A real date as equals. I would like that." I say after I step down. She adds when I am just Victoria and you are just Nathan. No titles in the way. Then I will wait, I say. I will not rush you. Her hand finds mine and our fingers lace together like it is the most natural thing in the world. I do not want you to wait alone, she says. We can still see each other, still talk, still build this slowly. We will just keep it careful until there is no line between our lives. I can live with that, I say. The months that follow are strange and steady at the same time. At work, she slowly pulls back from day-to-day decisions. New faces from Cascade start to appear in meetings. People stress about the future, but less than before. The deal is real now, not a rumor. Outside the office, our lives grow closer. We cook dinner at my place and at hers. I show her my favorite Thai spot. She shows me a tiny art house theater that only plays old movies. We walk in the rain with shared umbrellas and cold hands that always seem to find each other. We still do not rush. We talk more than anything about what we want our futures to look like, about her consulting plans, about my quiet dreams I never said out loud before. You could do freelance data work, she says one night as we sit on my couch with takeout boxes on the table. Pick your projects, choose your hours. You have the skills. I like the security of a paycheck, I say. I know, she answers. But security does not have to mean stuck. We can build something safer and freer for you. The way she says we sends a warm wave through me. Her last day comes on a clear Friday. There is a small farewell party in the big conference room. People give speeches. The board presents her with a framed plaque and a photo of the company's first office. She says all the right things, thanks everyone, reminds them the company is in good hands. She smiles for pictures. I stand near the back with my paper plate of cake and watch her say goodbye to the life she built. When it is over and people drift back to their desks, I stay behind to help clean up. I toss cups and wipe tables, glad to have something simple to do. Always helping, she says from the doorway. I look up. She stands there with her hands in her pockets, the room empty behind her. Old habits, I say. She walks toward me. Her suit jacket is off now. She looks less like a CEO and more like a woman at the end of a long, heavy chapter. So, I say, my heart beating fast. Are you still my CEO? She smiles. Not as of an hour ago, she says. As of now, I am an unemployed woman with a big plan and a lot of free time. Sounds scary, I say. It is, she answers. But I am not scared of the right things anymore. She stops in front of me. We are close. Closer than we have ever stood in a work building. Remember what I said in the hall? She asks about wanting to go on a real date with you when we were just us. I remember, I say. She takes a slow breath. Nathan, she says, would you like to go out with me tomorrow night, as my date? Not as my employee, just as the man I am falling for. I do not even try to hide my smile. Yes, I say. I would love to. Her eyes shine. One more thing, she says. I know we said we would take it slow, and we have, but there is something I have wanted to do for months now. Her voice drops just a little. Can I kiss you? She asks. My heart jumps into my throat. You do not even have to ask, I say. But I am glad you did. She steps forward and lifts her hands to my face. Her fingers are gentle against my skin. I rest my hands on her waist, light, ready to pull back if she wants. She rises on her toes and presses her lips to mine. The kiss is soft at first. Careful, questioning, then slowly it deepens. All the months of holding back, all the late night talks, all the what if, and maybe settle into this one simple truth. We fit. When we finally part, we are both breathing a little harder. Her forehead rests against mine. I can feel her smile. That, she says, felt a lot like the start of a new chapter. Yeah, I say quietly. It did. We leave the building together. For the first time, she does not walk ahead of me as the boss. We walk side by side out into the cool Seattle air. Two people with no idea exactly what comes next. But for the first time in a long time, I am not scared of not knowing. Because the knock at my door at 5 o'clock in the morning did more than wake me up. It tore open a life I thought was fixed in place and showed me something I never expected. A woman who seemed untouchable, standing on my doorstep with tear-streaked mascara and a heart full of fear. A choice between staying safe and taking a chance and a future that starts with a simple, terrifying, wonderful truth. I do not want the quiet life without her in.